What's happening, folks? It's me, Luigi, and today I'm going to be talking about how to actually get started with programmatic SEO. Just a step-by-step guide, what you're looking for, how to get your brain fucking situated, and a few examples that you can use to, get started, I guess. So check this out, right? This is for the non-nerds out there like me. You don't know how to develop, you don't know how to program, you don't know how to do any of that stuff. All you know how to do is publish articles and do some keyword research. This is who that is who this is for, right? So again, kind of going through it is first kind of like transition your mind from the kind of niche site publishing articles mindset into more, okay, I'm going to blast this site full of content. I'm going to talk about quite literally the only plugin that you will need to get started. If you've watched any of my other programmatic SEO videos, you already heard this and you already know what it is. WPL import, by the way. So there's that. And then again, some examples, what the fuck you're supposed to make. What I'm not going to be talking about at all is things like hosting or installing WordPress or themes or additional plugins. If you're watching this, I'm assuming you've already figured that out and you have your own system situated. You know what theme you use for all your sites. And if it's not GeneratePress, then you're wrong. But that's neither here nor there. So check it out. Again, this isn't your typical kind of content site, right? You're not writing an article or two a day and you're trying to get 15 or 20 articles published a month or outsourcing for 2 cents a word. You're creating a bunch of content at once, more or less. 500 posts or pages, 1,000, 2,000, 33,000 in my case, because I'm cool like that. And when you're doing that, I see this is more for, again, the crowd that wants to do a shitload fast, not kind of dive deep and actually do a whole bunch of, well, I gotta write all these. I'm trying to think of a good example, like pet food things, like what kind of food do dogs eat? Or German Shepherds, they need to eat 8 pounds of meat a day. They need to do this. You're going to have to write all that out. You might as well just write the article at that point. This is more for, hey, I have a few key data points and I'm going to build around that. Now, again, I'll talk about that later. That's end of the presentation type shit. Anyway, as far as keyword research goes, you really don't need to do a lot. It's more about content ideas, keyword extrapolation, and or I don't know, assuming, like educated guesses. For example, right here, just going on SEMrush, Kansas City Butcher gets a estimated search of 880 per month, and the population, the metro population is about 2.2 million. So one could assume that Sioux Falls Butcher, although it shows 0 in SEMrush, it probably gets, with the metro being about 10%, a little more than 10% of Kansas City, it'll probably get about 10% of the searches, because just because the locale has changed doesn't mean people aren't still searching for that. And then you get all the variations of that, Butcher in Sioux Falls, Cheap Butcher and wherever, things like people just searching for Butcher and they're located in Sioux Falls or Kansas City or wherever at, and they, your shit shows up. So you don't really need to sit there and go, okay, well, these are my top 10 keywords. Because again, you're not writing all this stuff and hoping to rank for a few Rudy Poo ass, 75 posts, whatever. You're going, I'm doing 10,000. I don't need all of them to rank well, but just by the sheer volume, gonna get some traffic. So again, talking about getting started on everything, I would start with a completely new website. I wouldn't try, especially if this is your first foray, I would not try to publish a bunch on an existing site just because you might mess a whole bunch of things up like I have done. This is me speaking from experience. And it's $15 for a new domain, and maybe a week to get something like this up and running. Basically the amount of effort it'd take to write maybe 5 articles, you can create 50,000 posts or pages. It's one of those things, especially when you're getting started, and this is how I went through it, was you're going to have iterations. As far as the first one I made was terrible, although it gets traffic just because, again, it's a volume play. But I would look at that. I'm not proud of what I published. I wanted to learn, and the thing with SEO is you can't learn in in an isolated environment. You have to learn by publishing and then getting it out there so these search engines can do their thing. But with that, I could, if I wanted to, I could take the data that I already have for that one site and recreate the site with the improvements that I've thought of after I hit publish. I don't necessarily have to go in and update the posts on that site. That site is ranking pretty damn well for it being pretty subpar quality, in my opinion. So instead of going in and updating those, I can register a new domain, $15, and create a second version of that site, basically competing against myself in the SERPs. But now I have, I have two assets, and I can add those additional elements or formats or different texts or whatever I want to add on there, videos, but I can add it to a new asset. There's no rule that says you can't. Well, there's no rules to anything, but there's nothing that says you can't compete against yourself in SEO. So why wouldn't you? Again, yeah. So your first site, it's got to be just anticipate your first site to be bad, and expect it to be bad. And if you don't think it's bad, then you haven't improved in any way after you hit publish or submit or whatever. So just get ready for that. I think it took me about 5 iterations really, before I'm actually working on a site now that I'm cool with and I'm happy with how it's looking. So the only plugin you need to get started, again, WP All Import. And that's it. I know there's a lot of people that are creating like programmatic SEO softwares to help you kind of get your spreadsheets, formatted correctly and published and all that. If you want to use something like that, it might be prettier. It might be a little bit more user-friendly, but it's not necessarily necessary. What WP All Import will do is exactly that. And the free version works just fine. I opted to pay for the lifetime deal. It was like $300 for all the features, import, export, advanced custom fields, WooCommerce, all that, because I know I'm going to be using it a lot, and I might as well get the, I don't want to fall into a trap, in 6 months from now when they move to a yearly or whatever their pricing scheme is, of having to pay for that, when I can just have it and I get lifetime updates and all that good stuff. So WP All Import, that's all you need. And again, everything else, your SEO, your favorite SEO plugin, your whatever else, that's all on you. So what the fuck are you supposed to make, right? So the thing with this is, again, because we're not developers, we're not doing all that. We're mostly creating static content. So you want to think of stuff that's pretty evergreen, and fast. You want to think of stuff that can be created quickly, fast, boom, go, go, go. You don't want to spend weeks on this because, well, if it doesn't do well, then what'd you spend all that time for, So evergreen content, be able to create it quickly. And it doesn't necessarily have to be new. It doesn't have to be new stuff. You can look at what somebody else has created and go, I can do that, but better. You can take the skyscraper approach to this, and then you really get after it. You know what I mean? So some of the ideas I'll go into more. This is just from like an article I wrote last month or something like that. Digestible databases, product comparison sites, and Big Bad Booty Daddies, which is now what I'm working on. So check this out. Digestible databases, basically just taking a massive amount of information and just making it easy to read. One example that I had in that article, and you can just do a Google search for this, which is literally Google any hex code, color code, hashtag FCA 311, which is a beautiful shade of orange. You look at any of those sites, they're done this way, where they just have all this information about all these different hex color codes, and they just present them in a way that's easy to read. They have the different shades, the different related hues. They have the what are they called? Tertiary? I don't know. I'm not a graphic designer, but if you are, yeah, I think you know what I meant. The related colors, what colors go well with it, shades, hues, whatever. The CMKY version of it, the Pantones, all that kind of stuff. But they're not sitting there writing all those articles or all those pages themselves. They're just pulling them from a database or a spreadsheet or whatever the case is. So for some examples, get your little brain working here. Vehicle information. If you have access to a healthy spreadsheet, or you want to scrape the data of vehicles, what is the miles per gallon on a 2022 whatever? What is the weight, the towing capacity, the seating, the horsepower, all that vehicle stuff. So when people go and search for how many miles per gallon can my 2003 Ford Explorer get, boom, there's the information. And again, because you're creating pages for, or attempting to create pages for every single vehicle, you don't necessarily have to rank for every single one. You rank for a couple obscure ones, a couple common ones. Hey, you might be winning. You might be winning a little bit. Some other examples, some space stuff. There's at least 500 stars out there. They probably have names, so if you could find a data set for that or compile it yourself, which I'm not into compiling the data myself, but if that's your jam, if that's what you want to do, you could probably make a website about space stuff. So all the satellites orbiting the Earth, boom, you have it out there, where they're going to be at. Patents, sports stats, chemical compounds, anything would, again, I'm looking at, when it comes to programmatic, I want a lot. I don't want to do, I don't want to spend weeks trying to get 150 posts published. I want to spend weeks getting 150,000 posts published. So it's big stuff. That's what we're looking for here. Or I am in at least. Another kind of suite of websites that I found doing programmatic stuff, like product comparison sites. You with this, you want to be a little bit more involved as far as elements on page, charts, graphs, lining things up nicely so it's easy to read the information that's presented. If you go to the website's technical.city, as the example I use in the article, it is a GPU and CPU comparison site, and all they do is they have like 40 or like 4,000 different GPUs and CPUs. I'm just gonna say GPU, and all they do is just you select one and you select another, and it pulls that information into two columns, and it's just all right there. Boom, you can read it. You can see which one's more, which one's less, which one has high performance, which one, all that computer nerd shit. You can see it really easily right there. So there's that. And the cool thing about that is it really scales quickly the more products you have on the site. I forget the actual formula, but I think with like 10 products, you can make 90 unique combinations without, or is it 45? Dang it. There's one, it's either 45 or 90 without duplicates. So wouldn't it be A versus B and B versus A? It'll just be A versus B, A versus C, A versus D, down the line, B versus C, B versus D, C versus D, boom, onward. I forget the formula. It's not terribly difficult, but again, they have like 4,000, we'll just say GPUs, and have like thousands of pages, like an insane amount. So all you would need to do is find products that, one, people are shopping for. I've done this before, with kind of decent but unimpressive results. Decent for the amount of people, like decent because it was something that people were actually looking for. Unimpressive because the volume of people looking for A versus B is pretty, but fortunately it's pretty middle to bottom of the funnel as far as the sales cycle goes, because when people are really narrowing things down to two options and they can say, okay, this one's unequivocally better, I'm going to make a purchase on that in most cases. So most electronics, speakers, monitors, keyboards, laptops, headphones. I'm looking around here for examples. MIDI keyboards. All those. Oh, that's music equipment. Server racks. All that kind of stuff can all that kind of stuff can be used to be like and compared. User interface, audio interfaces, mounts, whatever. I don't know why I put airsoft. That's I know as a pretty passionate community, and if you can present, hey, is this gun better than this gun? You'll probably make some sales, because those, I don't know how those weirdos get money, but I got all kinds of, a lot of people, a lot of the milsim shit is, they do their thing. I don't know anything about it, but it's on here. I used to do that shit in like middle school. Van life gear, again, like portable batteries, portable fridges, all that stuff that the van life community would need for their builds. Because again, same with airsoft, those people have money to spend in most cases, and they want to see, okay, what's the height and width of this fridge? Will it fit my build? Or hell, you could probably just do best van fridges with this dimensions, and you could probably create a bunch of posts that way from the same set of data, just based on what you've gathered or have found. So, product comparison sites. And then the big ones. This is what I'm doing now, just because, again, I'm on like my 5th iteration. I figured some things out, figured out how I want to present data and how I want to build these sites. So it's really, they're big, but they're boring. And it's not really that they're boring. It's just that it's like, imagine the same kind of article grind that you have, I guess we could say right now, where you're just publishing, 20, 30 articles a month, getting after it. But now you're just consistently doing that, but you're doing it 40,000 pages at a time, or 33.7 thousand pages at a time. Boom, boom, boom. And more or less spending the time to, what would effort wise create about 5, maybe 10 articles, but again, you're creating like 30,000. And it's a grinder, but I believe this will pay off for me. I say nicheless, perhaps. I'm going in, again, this is mine, not necessarily focusing on one niche, more like just focus on, hey, this needs to be created. Hey, I can create this. I can create this. I can create this. And example, I say examples because I forgot to edit the slide, but I'm just going to give one example again because I'm doing this, but I did find this an example. I put it in that article, and it's like alcohol delivery in city. And I forget the name of the website, maybe no, it's alcoholdelivery.com. And you can go and look at literally any 2 cities, and they have a landing page for every single city in the United States. And it's just, alcohol delivery here. And they have a few affiliate links right there. Boom, boom, boom. And there's no doubt about it that they're getting paid. They're getting like estimated, 30,000 searches per month. What I found with my sites thus far is that when you're doing this, it's because you're targeting such a breadth of I guess, content. You're just putting all this out there that you're hitting keywords that aren't even discovered. You know what I mean? Like the keyword research tools are so inaccurate for programmatic sites just because again, you're hitting any kind of keyword. Like it doesn't matter if you're getting 5 or 10 searches per month. That's not going to register on Ahrefs or SEMrush. So for instance, my first kind of real programmatic site I created, I think got about 330 clicks in the first 30 days, and it's still showing as zero traffic in the SEO tools, which I'm happy for, because I know that one of the big players, I guess my really only competition, they're estimating about 30,000 searches a month. So if they're showing 30,000, who knows how much they're getting. If I'm showing 0 and I'm getting 330, like they're probably doing some pretty decent numbers. So yeah, it's almost like a fortification. It's like your moat is that you're able to create at such a volume that the only people that can compete with you are other people doing programmatic SEO. Or they're just like, if they're doing articles, they're only going to be able to tackle your, top 10 or 20 or 50 or 100 performing posts, because those are the only ones that are showing up in the tools. That's the only one they're looking at. They're not seeing the ones for, alcohol delivery. They see alcohol delivery in New York City. That's what we want to go for, but they don't see alcohol delivery in Manhattan, Kansas. Oh, you know what I mean? Independence, Missouri. They don't see those pages because they're not showing up, but those ones still get 20, 30 clicks per month. And you have, I don't know, 10,000 of those that are doing 30 clicks a month. Boom shakalaka. That's what I got. That's it.